But if you look at the pre-market, and then you put a line at other than that 30 minutes candle, not just one candle, the rest of it, you will see a level of 588.38. If you look at that, you see that it just keep hitting me. So what if we just adjust the Fibonacci level to be that, because it's already broke that one time around 1048 ish, and then what if we consider that? What do you think of that?
You see, one of the tricks and the reasons that I like these Fibonacci levels is they don't move. Because the moment you start moving these levels a little too much, or put it this way, the moment you start having the opportunity to move these levels, we end up moving them too much to fit our idea of taking a trade, because we're a little bored, or we took a loss and we need to make it back. You know? So the mind will fuck around with you, and you don't want that. So when it comes to picking levels, I don't pick levels anymore intentionally. I stick them there, and that's it. If there's another level I got to put for risk management purposes, I'll put it there. But it doesn't mean I have to start a trade there. Mostly I don't. My trading starts at the Fibonacci levels. The risk starts there. Other levels are more for risk management or de-risking.
True.
So it's
my mind is trying to find a level just to take an entry.
Sounds like it. That's what you got to be very careful of. The market doesn't know you exist. You start putting stuff on your charts, you'll find a trade every second of the day if you want. But you're just creating stuff in your head more than anything else, and the market will slap you. It will just destroy your account. So be very careful with that stuff.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Yeah, for now, the SPY is just sitting there, very boring, consolidating. Nothing there for now. I thought I saw there was news coming out at 11:30, but now I don't see it on the calendar. Does anyone know anything about this? Any ideas? Has the calendar changed suddenly? Up to 10:30, there was all that. That was fine. After that, I don't see it.
It looks like it was removed.
Yeah. And I'm not keeping up to date with any news alerts, so don't know what's going on. Yeah, Jatan, no news. All right, wait and see. Again, today's another one of those extremely boring days for my style of trading. But for those of you who trade volatility and ORBs, it was all there. Again, lots of opportunity.
They changed the calendar because I remember that I look at it. There was few other news not important later in the day, but when I'm looking at it, it's not there. It doesn't matter what was it, but there was something in the afternoon, but now it's there. So.
Okay. All right. If it's not there, that's great. Just take your setup as it comes. And if the news happens to come, that's what stops are for, right? All right. So again, we are definitely in the most boring part of the day. We could easily sit here for 2 or 3 30-minute candles and it goes nowhere. And that's the hard part. Anyways, I'm going to keep quiet. You guys tell me something.
And if you want to take this SPY, are you taking the 588 in the money, or you're going to go slightly out of money at 589 at that level?
588. It's very slow. Unless I identify big momentum coming in, then I'll go out the money. But in the money, it's just so slow. Time decay is going to eat it all up. I'll just go with intrinsic value, and ideally it holds all the way through. But 590.5 is basically halfway to the next target, and that's where I'll de-risk it. Probably take a lot off, and then recycle those if it wants to continue. But again, all this is still hours away. Let's see if it happens.
I struggled with the trade management. I had one trade that I didn't touch it, let it go. It made 3R. I made another one, keep managing it, made 1R.
What the hell, man? You know better.
I should close it and let it go. Either it's gonna stop my stop loss or this. That's my problem. Just I I get excited, and that trade management I have to work on.
Yeah. Again, have a strategy and know what it is, even on not just setup, but trade management strategy, and stick to it. That's the key. So again, my strategy, the biggest one is get into at a level and go to the next level. That's it. Unless it's a very big level, then halfway through, take some off, and then the next level. That's about it. Start very simple with trade management, so you don't overmanage trades. And actually, again, you'll save your mental capital.
Yes,
Better.
true.
Make money that way. Less work, more profit, right? Yeah. Yeah, I let the SPY go today from the bottom to the top. That would have been a massive trade. Huge. But setup was just not. The news was the problem. Just a very obvious problem. Carl, what are you saying here? Can't see the screen. Are you holding? Oh, no, yeah, I'm not sharing. What do you want to see? It's just a bunch of candlesticks. Yeah, I'll share it. I haven't taken any trades yet. It's just sitting there. And let's see if nothing shows up. Then I won't take anything and have an early night. That'd be nice. It's rare when you're day trading in Dubai that you get to bed before midnight. Because even if you're done early, which let's call that 9 p.m., you can't really cool off and unwind for bed till midnight. At least I can't. So, sleep is very valuable too. Julie, what you got? Good morning. Yes, it was a nice weekend. Time with family, birthday parties, motorcycles. What else do you want on the weekend? Are there any mental exercises that you do to help with better decision making and discipline during trading other than meditation? How do you manage your mental stability after multiple stop losses? Ooh, that's a loaded question. Oh my God. Today's not the day for this. Can we talk about this on Thursday? No, there's definitely exercises. So, of course, none of these are done during trading. This all out in your lifestyle outside of trading. Very, very important. Very important to do it outside of trading. So that's meditation is the number one thing as far as the mental resilience part of it is concerned. We talked about that last time as well. So I do that every day. Even now, between the opening session that we did this morning and showing up here, I was gone for like 10 or 12 minutes. I was gone. Totally into meditation, totally in a different world. But that's very powerful. I do that. Other than that, I always I like physical activity, heavy physical activity. So these days for me, it's just weights at the gym. It doesn't have to be that. It could be whatever you're into, surfing or sports, tennis, whatever you like. I've done all kinds of sports over the years because that really helps as well. Once you're basically using the body as a tool to pump oxygen to the mind, to the brain, and make the brain healthy, and red blood cells and all that fun stuff. And basically your brain is healthier once you've got all that working. You got natural dopamine and endorphins and all that stuff. Actually helps with the brain. Also, you've burned a lot of energy. So you're not jumpy or overexcited unless you over caffeinate yourself. So obviously balance that out. But I recommend a very heavy physical activity every day, pretty much, and meditation. 2 practices that I do every single day. But this is not something that I'll switch on when I come to trading. You gotta live like this. You should always be like this. And then when you come to trading, you don't have to become a trader. You're just always a high performance person, right? Then that just comes into your trading. And again, by high performance, I mean, what you're really trying to achieve here is awareness, self-awareness. I think that's the key. Everything changed for me when I started understanding self-awareness. You're always kind of aware of the thoughts in your head, the intentional ones, and even more important, the unintentional thoughts, as well as your emotional state, as well as your physical state. You're always self-aware. It's like you're watching a character in the movie. It's like you're seeing yourself in the room from outside the room. You can see yourself moving around in the room. You're watching the character. You can see what the character's going through or what the character's doing. I mean, every time we're watching a character, you can always
understand what's going on in the character's mind or emotionally, get a picture of the story. So that's how you want to see yourself all the time. You want to live like that, ideally. And if you're doing that, then coming to trading and something as, let's say, as difficult as trading it's difficult because of all the uncertainty that we have. It makes it easier. Not that trading gets easier, it just makes it easier to handle. That self-awareness stuff. And now that is what helps with taking those losses and taking multiple losses. And you're very much aware that this is just your emotions reacting. You're feeling terrified and frustrated and humiliated and all that stuff. But that's just your emotions. That has nothing to do with the market. You stuck to your trade book, you took losses, big deal. It's just a losing streak. It's a part of the strategy. But if you are indulging those emotions of fear and frustration and all that, then you just become destructive, and that's when overtrading happens and all that stuff. So, I think it really practice two simple things, which leads to one thing, which is living with absolute awareness. Obviously, excellent health, nutrition, sleep, that goes, you guys already know that stuff. Maintain all that. And practice meditation and heavy physical activity every day, as in burn out your body fully, get healthy, and then come trade every day. Sorry, long answer, but I hope that helps. That's what I do and have been for many years now. Up to that Friday. Nowadays, you guys got me up all night on Fridays, huh? We're going to fix that. Yeah, practice those things. It takes a little bit, but once you get it going, you'd be surprised how quickly you'll find results. It happens quick, a few months. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Awareness. It's all down to awareness. It all comes down to that. That's hard to achieve, right? Especially in this modern world with all its distractions. Very hard. All right, what is this spy doing? Look at that. Let's again see 30-minute chart, higher lows, very interesting. 1 minute chart, higher lows, very good. Push up, consolidate. Even in the consolidation, there's higher lows. Everything's pointing to a move up. It's not too difficult to enter now. Put a stop wider down there and then add as it goes. But I don't do that anymore. I don't predetermine the breakout. I'll wait for it. Better win rate that way. So just wait. Waiting for the level, and ideally these small candles. I would like to see small candles up here to be able to put a tight stop. That's not likely though. Once it's up here, it's going to jump. Let's see. Yeah, already jumping a bit. Go for the break of the day, break of high. You know what, on that subject of being able to take losses and trusting that you'll make money in the bigger picture, that's where that book, Feeling is the Secret, comes in. It's basically law of attraction stuff. We talk about it every session, I feel like, but that is very powerful. It helps to trust the process. It really does. You really do zen out and detach. And to bring it more into day trading or trading in general, again, the Zen Trader book, strongly recommended. All these things, having at least that logical knowledge from the Zen Trader book just helps to detach. But to really do it again, you need all that meditation and all that stuff. Oh, man. This is one of those. If you get a setup, you put it on, come back an hour later and see if it went anywhere. It's a very, very slow day. But realistically, again, once the breakout happens, if it happens, it's likely to get a lot faster than it is right now. This is a very, very tight consolidation. It's been tight for a while, almost an hour, which is very good because the best, most explosive breakouts happen after tight, long consolidations, which on a 1 minute, this is what it is. On 30-minute too, this is a tight 30-minute candle, right in this range right there, right? Exactly what it did previously in the pre-market. And then you have these higher lows, all good. Let's see. Gurinder, what you got? You're new here. Welcome. Taking some big trades already today. Good for you, man. Good for you. Mental Game is a good book, huh? Based on golf. Applied to trading. Nice, yeah. It's amazing. All these high performance things actually come from the same thing, really. Just toughening yourself up in your head, basically. What the education system has done to us is we're not set up for high performance. We're set up to be obedient, conformist, all that stuff. It doesn't work for day trading, especially if you want the ability to take multiple losses and still carry on. It doesn't set you up well. So, but yeah, all this high performance stuff comes from same place, different places, different sports and various things, but comes from the same place in the head. Mental Game, yeah. Nice. There we go, another little sell-off. Pick up more shares down there, 588. What I want to see for the breakout is I want to see the 30-minute candles just keep making higher lows. That is very encouraging. If it stops making higher lows, I'm going to begin to think that this consolidation is not really happening. Therefore, the breakout is not really happening. But let's see. Hey, JC, you want to do correlation stuff, NVIDIA and SPY? Do it if you want. It's too confusing for me. Waste of mental capital for me because, there may be correlation, there may not. And you get kind of confused. You may have a thesis, and then the correlation will tell you maybe it doesn't go, maybe it should, or you get reinforced with a thesis. Then you get a stop out, then you get confused. Again, I've gone through that. So for me, this correlation stuff doesn't work. It's the opposite of 80-20. As in, I put in the effort, I don't get much out of it. Actually, I get negative out of it a lot of times. So I will just watch what I want to trade. It makes life easier, right? I can even take power naps in between trades. It's great. Not looking at correlation. But I know people that do it all the time. If it works for you, you can do it. Ant-Man does it, right? He did the presentation for us last week. So there are ways to do it. All right, there we go. Higher low. See that higher low just a minute ago from the previous on the 1 minute chart, even looking again very encouraging. 30-minute, same story. Still gotta wait. You don't enter here. Well, I don't. I used to. Nowadays I don't. 588 and yeah, 590.5, approximately in the middle. 89 and 92. So it's a $3 range. Let's see. So what happened to Amazon, guys? Holy shit! Somebody watch this. It's on my other chart here. Somebody bought. Did you guys get together and buy Amazon? You gotta share this with me when you do this. Come on, look at that pop. This thing just jumped. You gotta tell me about these things. Oh man, I gotta wait for the SPY to catch up. All right, here we go. See that? It's getting bigger. See this last candle now? Let's see if these buyers that have been stepping up and up and up are finally ready for the break. It made a new 1 minute high. Yeah, just a penny above the previous one. Let's see. I don't know where to put the stop. Of course, the breakout hasn't happened. If this candle just breaks out, where'd you put your stop? Entering up there, your stop is going to be where? I don't even know. Really wide, but perhaps below the entry candle because that's the previous level. I'm going to be a little careful with this. And okay, let this candle close. This is good. So here
this might be a stupid question, Avi, but what is the problem with just putting your stop in the middle of a candle? You know what I'm saying?
You can if you want to, but it depends on your strategy. For example, someone like Taurus would do that because he's watching some minute seller on the tape that's right there at some point in the candle. My strategy is purely based on candlesticks. And so I got to use candlesticks. And I do stop out more than I make winning trades, but still make money on it because the stops are tight. So, whatever your strategy is, just stick to it. And, again, your strategy should be something that makes sense to you. To me, it's completely arbitrary. What is a 1 minute candle or a 2 minute candle or a 5 minute candle? What sense does it make? It makes no sense. But you got to have a strategy. Otherwise, you got nothing. So, anyways, again, the same old saying, if you don't stand for something, you fall for everything. And that's an issue. All right, here we go. This is getting very aggressive. That green line was good. There you go. Come on down. I want it to bounce off that green line area. Let's see. Watching this very closely now. I bet volume just came in as well. See, that's a good little bounce. I need small candles. Otherwise, it's very difficult to trade this. Amazon's the one that's popping as well, guys. Nope, it did not hold. Look at that. What do we have? We have here. I can just put a million different lines all over the place, but this is actually a big one because of the previous resistance. Just about there. All right, here we go. This now looks better. That's it. All right, getting in here. Start with a few. 600. And let's see what happens. 590.5. Yeah, that's a good place to go. Come on, new highs would be good. Whoa, crap. All right, that's it. This has got to run. Basically full buying power at this point. Almost. Not fully, but there we go. I can buy more. Waiting for the pop back down to add more. It's just $1.40. Look at that spread, huh? As that popped option just ripped. I want a better opportunity to enter, but it's already on its way. Shit. That's what a breakout looks like on the SPY. It jumps. It's not as smooth as Tesla or something, but we're in the move. Now what's scary is that it's moving fast. It moves fast. I always wonder that it moves fast the other way as well. And I don't want to do a scalping idea. I should have actually gone with 589 if I knew it would move fast, but I didn't know it was going to move fast. Okay, here it comes. Here's an opportunity for an entry for another one, unless it stops me. Another ad. Yeah, this is full risk already, pretty much. Surprise. It's about as much risk as I can put on. If I'm going to add more, it has to truly come lower, like closer to this burgundy line there. Just another 10 cents. It's very hard to add more here. So my stop is still below the green lines. I haven't moved it up yet because it's just jumpy. So it's a full risk position. So let's see. You never know what happens. This is where false breakouts become really problematic. They go so fast, and that retest fails, you quickly exit. You really gotta exit. You cannot hold this. I'd like a little retest further down, then that would be better. I can really go in with buying power. There it comes. There it comes. Here we go. Bounce. Bounce. 1, 2. No. Come on. Oh, where's it going? Almost got me there. That's a good retest. Look at that. Very choppy. Well, not choppy, sorry. What do you call it? Very bouncy. Let's see. See that? That low right now, that is a key buyer. The low on this current candle, which is the stop loss, basically. It's right below there. Okay. I'm going to get a better opportunity to add in, so here it goes. That's pretty full right now. Let's see. I got $1.30, so 4,000 contracts. Okay. Yeah, that's maximum. Unless I move the stop in, which I can't. The stop is below. It's basically 588.50 right there. And if that stops, no big deal. I'll take the next one. we got? We want to go. Don't want to go. I gotta say, this is very complex because I typically don't like to put on so much size when the candles are this big. But they're moving. I'm able to get some very good entries. So anyways, going with max risk. Again, it's all risk. It's not about making money here. This is about managing risk. You think about making money when it gets to the money-making area, which is the target area, way out there, further up. You can see the 30-minute is late. It's not gone anywhere. What do you got, Jay? When do you start scaling out of your position in terms of percentage? I have a couple of buttons here, 10, 20, and sell all. Typically, I hit the 20% button these days. So I hold for long moves, large moves. I don't really scalp anymore. Scalping would be more 10% buttons, 10% partials. But yeah, great big moves. Once it gets there, hit that button like 4 or 5 times. You're going to get the majority of your position gone. That typically does it for me. I don't have like an 80, 90% button because I'm doing options. I like to scale in and scale out. The hard part is with these options and these sizes is when you have to stop out. Stop out is a hard stop. You want to get out all of it right away. But even then, you got to scale out. With these sizes, it's very hard to get the opportunity to just hit the button once and go and get out. Liquidity just doesn't exist. It's very hard.
So right now, you don't have a hard stop in yet?
No, I got my finger on the trigger to hit the button if it gets to my stop area. And I'm probably going to be a few times hitting that before I get liquidated. That's the tricky part. So all this area where these lines are, of course, the big one is a burgundy line, but these green lines,
yep,
where it was firm resistance turned into support, and you always give it a bit of wiggle room, so 588.50 basically.
Okay, so you're just keeping that in mind.
Yes, and I'm going to hit the button. If the SPY gets there, I'll hit the button, I'll be gone. Here we go, another test. Ideally, it's a higher low. Let's see. No, not yet. Yes, higher low, good. It's amazing how price action just tells you what it wants. The only one that wasn't precise was this red one here. You can see how it bounced precisely off of what was previous resistance, and even this white one here. And even now, this one so far. Again, massive buy. You can see the wick come in here. I should have added more there, but I just can't. And I'm pretty sure I'm full out of buying power at the moment. Yeah, this was this level here, almost precisely. And then this previous wick right here, breakout. These are like micro levels within the bigger levels. So I'm basically playing fractal patterns. It's all fractal patterns. That's the problem I tell you guys. With these big pops, you gotta be careful. They can pop in the other direction. This hasn't popped in the other direction, but it's pulled back and looking good. It's finding these buyers. These buyers are still here. They're still pushing up. They want to break it out. I mean, they're down here. They've been pushing it up all day. You can see this higher lows. So far, the setup is still good. But no guarantees, right?
I would have already panicked and got out.
Yeah, well, I've done that 100 times, probably a million times. All good. All good. Man, it's just painful to watch. And then half the time, again, scaling out with a stop is something I don't want to do. That's why I was asking Dor about the futures today. And maybe that's a place I might have to go, because even still, I'm struggling with stops. Not with much else. Scaling in and scaling out at profits, no big deal. But stops have become a little challenging. Anyone got the volume bar on this contract? I don't have it on mine, but if you can see when I execute it, you're probably getting volume spikes again. Probably. I think we saw that a while back. Yeah, the dangerous part here is the highs are getting lower on the 1 minute chart, which is telling me the sellers are also firmly in the business. Oops. Don't hit the button. Almost hit the button accidentally. I should put a hard stop in place, but the problem with the hard stops here is that they don't really work. Again, liquidity issues. I could, it'll be here 125. Yeah, it'll be about 125. And you know what? It'll be a combination. I'll do it here. I'll put in a hard stop. It'll be a combination of it hitting the stop and liquidating some, and then I have to hit the rest. If it goes. Okay, there goes a stop. Look at this madness. Sometimes I wonder why I take too much size, but it doesn't make sense if I take anything less. Okay, there it is. So there's a stop in place, and if that gets hit, you'll see that it won't immediately liquidate 4,000 contracts. It'll take a while. I have to hit that a few times, and it'll be down by the time I can fully get up. But anyways, so far we've had the highs getting lower, but now we just made a new high, which is encouraging, and the higher lows, which is encouraging. On the 1 minute chart, okay, it was scary for a few minutes, but this is encouraging behavior. And of course, the bigger picture is what you always got to keep an eye on. That's here, the 30-minute chart. Everything's going up. And break out of the level, and you can trust the level. All right. And this is too much work for a Tuesday, huh? I don't know if I have any buying power left to even buy more. I would actually like to. With that new high that just happened, that's encouraging. Along with the higher lows, which is the buying power. Yeah, I do have a lot more buying power. Shit, I could take another 2,000 contracts. But then the risk on that is I just can't do it here. I still don't have the opportunity to move the stop, and it still has to be below the big candle there and give it a bit of wiggle room. So, when this moves up and ideally breaks the high, maybe then I can move in the stop and do all that. But for now, there's no opportunity. There you go. Amazon did the move so far. Looking very strong. SPY's got to catch up to that, huh? Tesla's looking up too. Choppy, but very defined. Anyone else on this one? Anyone want to trade this? No?
I was on it, but I exited. Unfortunately, I see that Max 7 was selling, so maybe it's a correlation, but I exited. It's very small profit, but I exited. So I was not trusting it.
Fair enough, yeah. Now you're working with correlations. Cool, man.
Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong, but I was not confident, so I said I'm just going to exit.
There you go. Hit the stop. Hit the stop. So you didn't get all of the contracts back. Yeah. Now once if you have that in your trade book, then you gotta take the stop. Come on, get out. See that I can't even liquidate all of this. Okay, good. Got it out. Good. Cool. Max loss. Good. That wasn't too bad. So I've had much worse before when you plan for something like 50, 60K and it becomes like 100K to stop. This was not too bad. It's within the range. New lows. These highs getting lower so far, so not encouraging. Gonna wait for it. Wait for the next one. Yeah, correlations. Huh? Let's see. Market makers need new shares down here before they move. It's funny, you know, if this 30-minute candle closes looking like this, one of the strategies to take is the new 30-minute high, take the entry and stop below the 30-minute candle. It's basically this range. It's very tight. And you're still getting massive RVR all the way to the top. Isn't that something? That'd be so much fun. Well, let's see. We still have, what, 20 minutes for this candle. So wait and see. If it wants to go again, I gotta take it again. 588, yeah. Send contract. It's a shame. I got into a good position. It was really good. The entries were good. Let's see if I can get the same again. So the key really is the burgundy line and the high over there. Now, just because it stopped me out doesn't mean that the setup is invalid. That's what we were talking about earlier, right? Doesn't mean that it's invalid at all. See this bounce here? Where did it bounce off of? Right there. Just about there. Just put a level right there. So, resistance, bouncing. That's where it bounced earlier. That's where it bounced. It's very interesting. I gotta put the stop further up. Okay, here we go again. Scale back into this. Still a good entry here. Let's get into 1,000 for now. All right, the stop is down there, and I want to tighten it. I want to add in. Overall, it's still very bullish. Still gotta find a good entry. There we go. So going in with momentum. There we go. Get into 1,000. Can I? Ah, shit. It's extended. Shouldn't be adding up there. Got a late add. All right. Only managed 2,000 contracts for now until I can add in. I need a tighter stop.
Man, you hit that 100 shares, buying 100 share or 100 contracts like it's a fucking machine gun, man.
Yeah, man. Full auto. Boop, boop, boop. You gotta do it, man. I want to get in when I want to get in. I ain't messing around. Otherwise, what's the hell's the point, man? I didn't come here to play with pennies. That new high would be excellent, but ideally, I still want it to come back down so I can add more. I didn't get to get in full size yet. And I want to find a new higher low. This is a higher low from bigger ones. In this consolidation zone, this is the deepest pullback, which is still higher than the bigger perspective. Even on a 30-minute, look at that, it's just massive. The opportunity here is massive. I see the RVR and I see the potential to run the setup, so it's worth taking a few stabs at it and try to get into it. The entry is okay. It's not, again, it was good, then I got extended, so not as good as the previous one, where I got the entries down here. Ideally, it'll come back and I get more entries down here and scale up to more. There we go. Let's break high of day. It's actually more encouraging. Hi, there we go. There we go. Lots of momentum. Obviously, not a place to add. The stop is still down here. If I can move it in, if I get some good activity. 588.80 maybe, up in this area. I still can't move it. I have to get the price action to pull down and show me a higher low on the smaller scale. Still finding sellers up there. The problem here is the sellers that you're finding right now are lower than that previous seller. So that's a little point of concern. Let's see. Again, this is smaller picture, right? Bigger picture is really down here and here, all this moving up. There we go. Here comes an opportunity. Let's see the bounce. It's right about in the same place I was at earlier. Very good. Get some more. There we go. That's okay. It's not ideal. I really want to tighten it up more. That wick didn't come down as low as I wanted it, but okay. Still got some decent size. That's okay. Can't complain. See that the buyers are here, the sellers are there. They're just gutting it out. See, for now, my stop is down here. It's like below a 30-minute candle. It's so strange to think about it. But it's just tiny on this chart. So one thing I'm very much closely watching is these highs now. Because these highs have been getting lower, even though they're just pennies. It's very concerning. If it fails to make a new high, at least even from here, from the more recent ones, then I might prematurely exit this one. Not hold for a full risk, because the risk is too high.
I don't want to distract you because you're in the SPY trade, but if you zoom out the SPY a little bit and then have the from 9:30 at 1 minute, when we have that V shape like this, I have seen it. I haven't tested it, but you usually have the move that is already wanted. Not that it doesn't go further up, but it's just not gonna happen with RVR. That's how I've seen it, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. People have talked about that. I've heard of it too. But what I see on a 30-minute though is this is the false breakout, which sets up a good breakout on the other side, right? Wyckoff. So I've always worked more with that philosophy. But no, it makes sense. If it makes sense. A V shape and a strong move, that's pretty good. And you got that move here. I can see it already happened. Let's see. That's why I'm not counting on the full move. It's just halfway is where I plan to de-risk it completely. All right, here we go. New high. Yes, no. Oh, sorry. Just, oh man, it touched it. Okay, that is interesting. Look at that. Every time it touches right there, 588.96. Big seller. We break through that, can have some momentum here. Tesla and all this stuff moving up to all my other charts are just moving up. It's very interesting, micro price action.
And the Tesla is coming to that Avi8ors level as well.
Yeah, it's sitting right there. Tesla. Amazon's the one that's really on the move, it looks like. It's the one to keep an eye on. All right, where are we? Here we go. Higher lows. This is actually a good little consolidation. Pushed up. It's sitting right below high of day. Again, set up for high of day. Looks good. Did that earlier, right? That high of day there. And look at this consolidation. It was a wide one, then broke that high of day, then made a new one. This is the consolidation now, tighter one. It's like consolidations within consolidations. Fractal patterns again. 5-minute chart just looks like one little ABCD pattern. It's holding below, breakout. All of this is basically a retest area. And let's see. If you don't want to go, take the stop and then wait for the next one. That's just how the game is played. Where's the button? Is that what I can add? I made a new low. Burgundy line. Yes, actually that's a good place. Let's get in a bit more. Yeah, there we go. That's a better entry. Okay. Now we're back into it. Back in the game at a decent entry. See, going to enter up here was dangerous. I did get 1 or 2 fills up there, but just want them down here. Okay, now we're back on. Let's see. Ideally, this low really holds because it's higher from the previous one that really went deep. Don't want that one again. That one that's deeper inside the Avi8ors level would pretty much negate the setup, but let's see. There's other nuances. The RVR is just tremendous on stuff like this. It just goes halfway even. It's amazing.
So how many shares are you into that thing for? I was looking at your montage, but your little box is kind of small.
Yeah, it's 4,000 contracts. Shares are yeah, it's the equivalent of 400,000 shares.
Jesus Christ.
So let's have 400,000 shares go for $1. How many dollars is that? Put that home, huh? Why not? I'll take that all. Shit. Okay, new highs now. Let's go. Break. Yay. There we go. Okay, simpler. Now, 589 is what we're looking for, the next break. And let's see. Of course, as long as the lows keep getting higher, that's the most important for risk management. And break of 589 brings in the opportunity for the profit up above 590. 589, we know that's that big seller. Look at that attack right there. You know, one thing I always like to think about is what are the shorts doing? If I was looking at a short position here, there's no way I would short this on a 1 minute chart even, because I would like to see a double top, which would mean we have a top here and then a nice curve as a real serious push down, and then a lower top, nowhere near the previous high. This is not lower, this is the same. So forget about shorting. So, you know, that's also very encouraging for the long. But it doesn't mean I go long based on that. It's just a matter of thinking about the other side of the market. That always helps. Abhishek, I should do hot button for 1,000. You see, Abhishek, the problem is the spread. Again, I have to scale in, scale out. I don't, if I had 1,000 right away, it'll get some of them filled and some of them filled 50 cents away. It's a mess. I have to, even though the clicks are half a second apart sometimes, just have to do it this way for liquidity and spread purposes, which is also good. It slows me down a little bit. It slows me down. Otherwise, I'd probably get, imagine a 1,000 contract button, hit that 5 times. Like, oops, sorry, put on too much too quick. And I know I can be very trigger happy, so that's, you know, a little friction between putting on the risk and between getting excited. A little friction helps. So again, you gotta be aware of these things. I'm aware of this. I can be very excitable. I know this. That's why I trade the way I do, as in there's no indicator on my chart to make me excited. So remove the triggers and you're more stable.
Since you're trading 2,000 to 4,000, why not, for example, instead of the 100 contracts, move to 250 contracts, for example? That might have a better trade, or no?
Man, I just started 100 last week, man. Give me a break. Jump in. What the fuck?
Yeah, fuck it, Avi. Why not 1,000?
I'm pushing it for 1,000.
Just buy the whole fucking market. You guys are so aggressive.
We sit back, relax, and put 250 contracts per entry.
Imagine
Just go all in.
Just all in, right? Buying power. Use buying power. Gosh, is that scary stuff? See, with equities, I don't mind. At one point, I had a 3,000 shares button to buy with equities, and even that got scary. There we go. Breakout high. Let's go. Let's rip this. Okay, 590.55 is my target zone. I want to add on the breakout, but the stop is not. Can I? Ooh, this is good. This breakout is very healthy. Oh man, nah, let it go. Don't get too aggressive because the entry here will be so wide. My stop has to be down here. All right. Anyways, let's let that thing run. We have this low, which is tricky, 589.50. It's not really a problem. I put this level right in the middle, and it's also a key level. You can see it here on the chart. Support, resistance, all that fun stuff. All right. Now, I just gotta let it go. Can't do much. The stop has to be below this candle, down in this zone. It was down here, now it has to be up here. So about 130. I'm just gonna put the hard stop in, but it's never in the right place because these are options. And at least that way I can take my finger off the trigger. If it gets into the stop zone, I'll watch it again. Okay, wait, it's still pulling back for now. Again, what the key thing I'm looking for here is higher lows. It made higher highs, which is great, but higher lows is what keeps it sustainable. You know, and it's only really in this zone that I want to watch the 1 minute chart. Otherwise, you go nuts watching this all the way. I want to watch the 30-minute chart. That's where the setup is really. It's really amazing on the 30-minute chart.
You did not put the hardest stop, did you? You wanted it.
Not yet. See, I'll put on a 30-minute chart. Below the 30-minute candle,
Like my
it
phone.
would be.
So with my dog, picture was some conjunction from my generation.
Yeah, well, you gotta-
Treatment goals.
Sorry, hot mic. Unmute yourself when you're ready. What was I trying to do? Yeah, trying to put stop in place and then tighten it up. Let's put it stop market. What was it? On the 30-minute chart, it's about 115 to begin with. Again, these stops are so tricky with options. You never know where to put it properly. You know, you just gotta watch the price of the underlying and then move it. So right now, where the hell is it? It's way down there. It's just stupid. You know, it's down here at the moment, just on a hard stop basis. But realistically, I'm gonna hit the button. It gets down here. But when the underlying gets down here, I don't know where the option is gonna be. Ideally, it should correlate with, you know, 0DT. It doesn't always correlate. It's very tricky. So new high, pull back, higher low, higher low, higher low. Just waiting for these higher lows. This one took what, 10 minutes? This next one might be 10 minutes, another 3 minutes or so till a higher low. So let's see. It's nice and slow. There we go. Hopefully that is the low, 588.80. Oh yeah, you can predict these higher lows. Look at the previous resistance right there. Just about, right? It's really wiki, but that's how the SPY works. And you got that. Ideally, this is it, and then it just keeps doing this for the next hour until it gets to somewhere profitable. What are you missing here? Unrealized gives you anxiety. Are you watching it? It'll give you anxiety if you
just based on my size, you know, obviously 4,000 contracts, I'm nowhere near that ballpark. I'm watching steady $5 moves.
Nah, fair enough. You build into it. But the key way to not get anxiety from the P&L is to not watch the P&L. And again, as you guys know, for what, about 5 years or something, I never exposed my P&L to myself when I'm trading. Only tested this, I don't know when, last quarter of last year. I realized I can trade, and the P&L won't. It does not impact my decision making. So I just left it on the screen, and that's it. I'm barely watching it. You guys are watching it much more than I am. I'm watching this. This is critical, as I know every uptick and downtick is $4,000 or $5,000. I already know that. So how many upticks and downticks can it really go? Well, I gotta have places on the chart. If I stare down here, I'll go nuts too. Of course. But you gotta build up your trade book and your instincts for your trade book, not your instincts for your money. Then
I think it's gonna take time for us to get there, because I was looking at that P&L that you had, and it said that it went to the unrealized to win 80K, and then your loss was, for example, unrealized 66. If I was at this moment, I said I'm gonna exit, because at least I'm just gonna cover that realized loss that I have. I'm just gonna exit at 10K. But I know that you're not doing it, but it's just a matter of different mindset.
Yeah. Well, that's a rule book. You don't trade the P&L, you trade the trade book, right? That's the strategy is a strategy which is irrelevant of the P&L. The P&L has no place in the strategy. In my trade book, it never says anything about P&L. It just says take the trade when it comes, hold it for the target when it goes, stop out when you stop out. That's it. It doesn't say if the P&L is this, then you do that. If the P&L is that, then you do that. It doesn't say anything about that. So that has kept me more consistently profitable than if I'd gone the other way. So
that's what I've been using these levels for, though, is trying to put from one level to another a reasonable profit range, which it could be 5R plus. So I'm trying to find that 5R difference from one level to another, which is kind of trading the P&L, I guess. But
no, that's a good thing. Think in terms of R. That helps a lot, because you get better entries, right? Much
that's
tighter.
the reason why I have my unrealized on my screen is if for whatever reason, it starts going up to that, I don't have to worry about what the target is. I just see my P&L is at 5R.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. Well, there's a new high. The tricky part is when the P&L, it tells you how much R. I get it, but then you don't want it to trigger emotions. Like, oh, with that money I can pay off the debt, or buy the car or whatever. If those are the thoughts that pop into your head when you're trading, you're doing it wrong. So R, I just look at it on the screen. You can put indicators to tell you about R if you want, levels and stuff. Do it that way. But the moment you start connecting your P&L to lifestyle or your debt or anything personal for that matter, then you're in trouble. Now you're not zoned out. Now you're attached. When you're attached, that's it. It's going to control you, and you can't trade. You just can't.
The easiest and fastest one is to cover the loss. Means the mind is saying that
Yeah.
you had a loss trade. It went to that.
Yeah.
So you have 2R, let's exit and cover the loss. That's the easiest one. The fastest one.
Fastest one, and you'll never make money doing that.
Yes.
You know, never. My trade book says take this kind of loss 4 or 5 times. If the setup shows 4 or 5 times and it fails every time, take it every time. And then, oh shit, this thing wants to pop. Damn it. And then, wait for your target on the one that works. Holy crap.
Watching Nate the last couple weeks,
This is
he
something.
mentions a lot that, the price is going to test your entry multiple times. So recently this quarter, I've had issues moving my 1R stop loss to break even just because I know it's going to come back and retest it.
Yeah.
It's in the area. It's going to retest it. So I'm taking a lot of 1R stop outs like I should, but there's a lot of times I could just move it to break even, make it de-risked, but I know it's going to come back and test it.
It will. It does. It's very common, of course, as you know. But that's all right. It's all right. Let it test it. If it hits your stop, it hits your stop. Get in again. If it comes back and look at this. I took one stop out when it had one deep pullback, and then I re-entered. The setup is still firm, right? Doesn't mean it's going to work. I have no idea if it's going to work right now. I don't like it because it's jumpy. This is really unstable price action. I like it to be stable, and it goes for a long distance. If it's unstable like this, it's not likely to be going smoothly up to the target. But we'll find out. I don't know. So yeah, be careful with this stuff. But again, if the setup is there, you must take it. And here's another thing. You know what? I don't think of trading as personal money. It's not my money. It's in my business. Yes, I own the business. All right, fine. LLC, whatever. But the more you put yourself in a business mindset, the more you'll function like a business. Like you look at the P&L at the end of every quarter and see if you were profitable or not. So I could have 5 days in a row where I lose $150,000, $200,000 a day. For a business, that's nothing. That's what, $5-10 million loss. That's a joke. It's nothing, right? You're talking about businesses. You're talking about millions of dollars back and forth. You got to just think like that. Doesn't mean you have that kind of money, but that's the point. You got to think like a business, and that will help detach from the personal stuff with money. Unfortunately, trading is we always sitting at home in our pajamas thinking of it in personal terms. That's the dangerous thing.
Your mic cut out. Bobby, your mic's there you go.
It's not
You're
working
good now. You're good now. You cut out for like 10 seconds.
It helps. You don't want to get personal with this. That's when you make bad decisions or decisions that screw you up, man. Poor decisions. So always think like a business. All right, this is getting really messy. I don't like this action. This is pushing up and then putting in wicks, pushing up, putting in wicks. And I don't like the way it's pushing up. It's going too fast. It really should not. I mean, I like fast moves. They're great, but they're not sustainable. 589.50. I hope it consolidates here is what I'm really looking at. Now, what we have is this previous high. What was the previous real dramatic high was this one. 589. Yeah, ideally it comes to down about 589.10 or so. Put a line right there and retest that area, then it's healthy. And I can move my stop in tighter and let it run. But this pop just like this, especially this time of the day, it can easily just rip the other direction. Right now, my stop is still down here. What's my break even? 143, 150-ish. It's still still can't really move it. I'll bring it in tighter, but not fully at break even yet. So now the risk is a quarter of what it was when I started or something. So no big deal. And yeah, this is good. This is ideal. Ideally, it hangs around in this zone, consolidate 5 minutes or so, and then run up. But if it keeps running up like this, I'm likely to partial it quickly, even 589.50 where it is, and 590. So this is risk management. This is not a matter of taking profits. This is minimizing risk because this is risky action right here. Profits are up here. Again, profits is all, I'm thinking at the green line. 590.5. Anything before that is because it looks unhealthy and it's too scary and dangerous. You got to manage risk. That's it. So again, 90% or fucking 97% of trading is risk management, where even when you're not trading, you're waiting for a trade. That's risk management. And then in a trade, it's all risk management until it gets to a target zone. There we go. New high. Look at this thing. Is it? No. Good Sit there for a bit. It's really jumpy. You saw that earlier, guys. In the setup, it was so slow, and then suddenly it really got active. That's what a breakout is. If you guys have volume, you've probably seen volume come in over here. But again, also, if it consolidates here for far too long, I'm not going to hang around. Put the order here at $2 and get out of there. Or I'll put it at break even and either it stops or it goes. I don't know. I'll have to decide.
Yeah, since the tariff pause, we've had a lot of these popping sideways.
Yeah. I still think about these pops. They're very unstable. And so risk management, again, it's all de-risking. I'll happily take a small loss or another break even, no problem. But yeah, I don't want to get this thing all the way down to a full loss again. Obviously, that's not stable. This is already moved. It's departed from my entry zone, but it's not done it in a nice way. All right. I gotta say, this is really too much work on a Tuesday. I wasn't fully alert. I'm ready for trading. 3 days off, really. The brain just shuts down. And I gotta sharpen up again. Where's my stop? My stop is, down in this zone. 588.70-ish. Yeah, this is a consolidation. Oh, yeah, naked trading patterns, guys. Look at this. Push up. Consolidation. Now, during the consolidation, long tail hammer with room to the left. It's the deepest one in the consolidation with room to the left. You enter the new 1 minute high. That's the whole strategy. This has a little wick on the upside. It's not an ideal long tail hammer, but it's just what it should be. Almost there. So the breakout is actually likely after that hammer. Let's see. There it goes. Boom. Okay, this is getting very unstable. Man, I was hoping for a couple more minutes. 590. Shit. Well, the truth is, if I hold this thing all the way for the target, 592.30, well, that's I don't know, it's over $1 million. But it has to show me that it can go. If it keeps behaving like this, it's okay. It's not ideal. I'm gonna check out one more thing. What do we have in this zone? Yeah, look at that. Look at that. See where it's misbehaving? I don't like this one bit. It's misbehaving at that low. Oh shit. Okay, yeah, it did this on Friday as well. Okay, yeah, this is problematic. I'm getting out of here. I'll cut this down by like 70% or something. 300, 200, I don't know, 220. 220 is fine. So this is de-risking. See, this is messy. I'll add up again if it goes above. Still have a good size on. It's not too bad. But now it's better than break even. And this number of contracts don't matter, as in it'll liquidate without a problem. Once you get above like 800,000 contracts, that's when it gets difficult. You see, this behavior is just not pretty. Now here's something I'll tell you guys. You see this low here that I found here. Now that is support. Okay, very very important. So I'm not looking at that as resistance. That's why when the first time I got there, I don't really care. I'm going into support. Ideally, it goes right through it, takes that support with it, and continues up. But it's not doing that. And I had the same kind of trade on Friday here, where it went up. I don't know where I got in somewhere, and it ran into this, which was again support. Where is it? I think it was here. I got out or something. It was support, and it started to misbehave. Well, it's going up, but support means you should go up with it, as in it supports the price to go further. But it's not doing that. It's telling me that on a 1 minute chart. So unfortunately, you have to take off a lot of that position. So R value wise, I don't know what I got so far, 3R or whatever. Not a whole lot. But there's still enough of a position on where I can add if it breaks through. And then I have further levels to add. Again, now it becomes more recycling. Where is it here? I'll show you guys. Yeah, I'm at this level now. If it breaks through, I'll add, take it off at the next level. If it breaks through, I'll add again, take it off at the next level. And that should be it. So no 7-figure trade today. We'll have to wait. Wait a little bit. Yeah, Piyush, what's up? You here?
Yeah, Avi. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
The microphone's gone crazy. Where you said it was prior support and the stock has come up to that level and you're not concerned about that support. Isn't prior support now resistance? So why did you say that's not the case?
Yeah, exactly. So what prior support should continue to be prior support unless it turns itself into resistance, which is what it's been doing right here.
I can't hear you. Oh, sorry.
Good.
Now I
Good
can.
to hear. Test?
No.
No.
Okay, there you go.
Avi, you had couple of times cut off today, even in the morning show as well.
Shut up.
Just a minute. I'll fix this.
Tesla just went nuts.
All right. How's that now? Settings and reset.
Perfect.
Good. All right. Yeah. I need to start a GoFundMe page to get a new microphone or something. Okay. Yeah. So, what was support? Now it hasn't proved to me that it's gonna turn into resistance. That it is resistance. No, it may well turn into, and that's the scary part as it got up here. And it's not just that it got up here; it's the way it got up there. It's just pushing heavily, right? We saw that for like the 10 minutes as it's been breaking out. Push up and come down. Push up and come down. Push up and come down. This is misbehaving at an area that I anticipate support, but it might be support turn resistance. It might be. That's why it became a matter of de-risking. But I let the 1 minute chart tell me that. It took about 10 minutes of hanging around in this area to tell me. Now, if you're looking again here at the 1 minute price action, this is very good setup for a breakthrough. Look at that. Pushed up to there, it's consolidating and it could break through, but it hasn't broken through yet. I don't know. If it breaks through, retest ideally, then I'll add into the position and go from there. So that's how I'm seeing it. Really, I've seen it a lot of times where it just pushes right through. You know, what was support is, and here's another thing. What was support here? Like, you see the breakout? It happened. Now it already did a massive move from there. It didn't do a retest right there. It just kind of went. So I'm not anticipating a retest now, from 4 days ago or whatever it is. I'm anticipating this thing's gapped up. I got an excellent breakout set up, and they got a long way to run. This is just maybe a troublesome area on the way. This is resistance firmly right here.
Right.
That is firm. So there's no messing around with that. Also, the halfway mark that I put here, it's a little bit concerning because you can see it's resistance. It was support, turned resistance. See that? Rejecting. And even the 8 a.m. stuff rejected. Even on the first candle there, it rejected. And then this was a false breakout. And then eventually it broke out. So this area I know is more trouble. This is the one I'm truly concerned about. That's why I had it on the chart even before I began the trade. But then as the 1 minute chart got into another area here, it was giving me some clues. It was messing around. I looked back to see why or what it could possibly be. And there's an obvious one right there. And I'm thinking, this is support, but we'll find out if it's resistance. I don't know. It could go, it could not. That's why the whole de-risking concept over there. Or it took off. How much did I take off? Oh, I took off like 80%, I think, or something, 90%. And yeah, again, 0 DTE contracts take off a lot more. If I had the contract or just shares or contracts expiring next week, I wouldn't be too bothered. Take off maybe 2/3, not so much. So yeah, that's the way I see this.
Thank you.
Yep. What am I missing here in the chat here? Mark, what are you saying? You're prone to triggers as well. Once you get in, your stop has to be below the previous 5 minute candle. Stay on the 5 minute, let it go. Yeah, triggers, emotional triggers that trigger us into poor decision making. There is the magic indicator. I was at 140. Yeah, okay, I got the stop in the right place. There is the magic indicator, which is the P&L. And by magic, I mean it triggers us into magical emotional behavior. Remove it, 90% of those emotional behaviors go away. That's why the fixed risk hotkeys are tremendous. I used them for so long. They built my instincts to the point where, now the P&L, even if it's on the screen and it's 20 times or 1,000 times bigger than it ever was before, it still doesn't impact my decision making on resistance, support, stop, targets, all that stuff. But again, that was 3 or 4 years of building the instinct with fixed risk hotkeys, and risking $20 a trade, going up to $500 a trade slowly, and then now here. So that tool is amazing. Use the tools, man. We've got amazing tools. Kyle developed that like 5 years ago. He's around. You meet him at these meetups sometimes. He's the hardest person to find. It's like he's hiding behind the hotkeys in your keyboard. He's that kind of guy. You gotta meet him.
Avi, great trade. So you said you shaved the majority of the position because of the congestion on the 30 on the left, but was there anything on the 1 minute that was, causing you concern?
Yes, definitely. The 1 minute, when it started to really break out this big high, it wasn't doing it nicely. It was jumping and coming back, and then the next one jumping and coming back, and every single one of these moves up was aggressively pushing up too fast and jumping down. Dean, you got a hot mic, I think. So for a move that is sustainable, you don't want it to be jumping around. You want it to go and go in waves, nice and smooth.
Yep.
So when the 1 minute got into this area and it was really jumping, I was like, there's something here, maybe. So I looked back, and pretty dramatic level right there. So
No, which is great. I see that, but you were confident to hold it whilst it was doing that for a few minutes.
yeah, I had a
You know
few
what I mean?
minutes.
It started like around 12-ish.
Yeah, well, where did it start? The jumpy act, yeah, about 12. Well, and then really was around here. I was starting to wonder why. And I was looking at this 1 minute candle. This one was that long tail hammer stuff, and this should really go smoothly, but it didn't. This one really was cause for concern. So it only took about 2 seconds to look on this chart and spot that right there. And then okay, there it is. So get out of there, get out of the way if it wants to come down. Sure, or it might just come down, bounce off, and go. And look, I still have a significant position on. 226 contracts, a lot of money. So it still can make another, I don't know, 20K, 30K if it goes the distance, and I'll add into this if it breaks through. If not, I'm better than break even at this point, and that'll be it. So
Nice.
sure. But again, RVR, guys, if you just look at the execution side of it, it's not ideal, as in I've expected more, but see the entries, the stop is not too far out. See the entries, the stop was in a similar place. And this is RVR of, I don't know, what, 2 to 1, 2.5, whatever it is. But the thing didn't even begin to go. So look at that. My entry's here. The target's really up here. This would be like 30 to 1. It's just misbehaving. That's why de-risking, and even in de-risking, you're still ending up with better than 2 to 1, close to 3 to 1 or whatever. So, plan for the big ones. Targets should be massive, and your strategy should incorporate that. And then if it doesn't really want to go all the way, well, you still get 5R. You're still okay. You still make money. You still afford to lose 2 or 3 stop outs and make one that works. You'll be okay. So that's how you trade. That's the little secret to printing money. I put this in the course, right? The whole course is built on this. Winners bigger than losers, which means don't enter it until it offers you better than 3 to 1, or ideally in the 5 to 1 range or bigger. Otherwise, don't even waste your time. Don't waste your mental capital, financial capital, all that stuff. And definitely don't just trade to make back your money. Then you'll never get better than 1 to 1. You never realize better than 1 to 1. That's the thing. All right, this thing's just messing about now, huh? Anyways, this 589 zone is very interesting. Couple of highs here. Could bounce off and go. Ideally, I'll survive the pullback if it does that. These are 0 DT, so this contract will disintegrate the longer it goes nowhere. So it may even hit my stop before it does a retest. If it keeps behaving like this, tiny candles going nowhere, my position disintegrates. Again, that's
So
that's an
as
option.
that disintegrates out on the chart on the left there, the options chart, you'll start seeing that bounce a lot more than you will on that equities chart.
Not so much, because this is a 588 strike, and you see 588 is way down here. It's like way down here somewhere. So it's not going to get sensitive. This options chart is not going to get sensitive until the underlying here. The SPY is at 588. So whatever it is, it's like $1 or whatever. It's down here. It's not going to get sensitive. I'm way in the money at this point. But this is time decay. It's just time decay. It'll slowly decay, and just hit the stop. Even if the SPY goes nowhere for the next 30 minutes, it just sits here. This decay will just hit the stop.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Contracts have expiry dates, and therefore their value changes as you get closer to expiry. Just like in construction or any other contract, right? There we go. Let's add into this thing. There we go. Found a
Here we
higher
go.
low. I got to break out, retest, and then I can add. Because adding here makes no sense. See, the stop has to be here. How much can I add? And move the stop in here? That's just silly because you just easily stop out for no good reason. Let it truly break. And then I'll see. I want conviction that it's going to go. I want it to break what this level is. Potential resistance. Potential. So far, in 1 minute chart, it resisted once. But 1 minute chart is not where I make my decisions, right? So I don't know if this is resistance or it's going to continue to be. But I'm being safe about it. All right, de-risked it, put the stop at better than break even. And if it breaks through, then we have quite literally a second leg. And then ideally a third leg at 590.50. And when we have a genuine bull market, like all-time highs, you're not going through this stuff. You're just really going. And on measured moves, that's when the big ones can happen. Now we're almost, if you look on a daily, it's like we're just recovering from a minor little bull run. Basically last week. We're into last week's choppy action. So once you break through here and then even further out, 620, 630, you get these big candles like this on the SPY. Those are the $1 million days. Multiple seven figures on those kinds of days. You got to know where you are in the market. That's going to be above here, in the 620 range. Even up here. Let's see if we get up here next couple of days. Could be good.
Avi, you're saying you wouldn't buy in on a retest on 1 minute because of the higher time frame, still how it's looking, and it's still looking bullish, right, on the 30?
Yeah, it's all bullish. Everything's looking bullish these days. Last couple of days, I think it was. Well, today for sure, it's obvious. But no, on the trade management for this trade that I'm in right now, if it breaks through, I want to add. And ideally it bounces off, retest, I can add more. And I'll use these smaller buttons now, not the 100 contracts, but 25 and 10s, and get into little positions. Also, be careful with these because commissions are heavy with these options contracts. Very heavy. You better get big trades RVR-wise, otherwise you're going to just eat your commissions. You need the RVR to absorb the commissions and the spreads and all that stuff, right? So be careful with options. Here we go. High of day.
Just out of curiosity, how much commission would be on 100 contracts?
65 cents per contract in and 65 cents per contract out. Enter and exit.
Per contract, so times 100, so 650 in and out. So 1,300.
650, yeah. 1,300, yeah. Just the in and
All
just.
said and done. Okay.
Did I get that right? I think so.
I was looking over the weekend at the commissions I've been paying on contracts, and they tend to average 71, 75 cents, even $1. So I don't really, even though I'm using IBKR, and even though they say 65 cents, you check out what you're actually paying. I mean, just generally, it's typically more than that.
Okay,
There
well,
are fees. There's a lot of fees and commissions on top of these contracts. So for a small contract, like the way that we trade, like 20, 30, 50, maybe it's going to be around, like our set, $1.8 to $2 in and out total. But for yours, Avi, might be cheaper, maybe $1.50 in and out, maybe. But it is fees and commission on top of that 65 cents.
Yeah, good point. I have never looked into it. I thought you can elect the tier of commissions, and I did that years ago, and I can't remember now. Good point. Yeah, definitely should check IB and see what they're going to charge you and try and lock in something that's reasonable.
I basically found if they're cheaper, if you're, sub 50 cents a contract, they tend to be on the higher side. I'm not sure if that's always the case, but it seems to be with what I've been trading. And then the SPY tends to average around 70, 71 cents each way.
Have you looked at you're buying more contracts when it's cheaper? You factor that in, right? Because that's what I do when these are like $1.30 contracts. I'm buying thousands. If I'm buying a $10 contract, I'll buy like 200 of them. Obviously, less commissions. That's what my experience has been. But again, I don't know. You've looked at this much more than I have.
Yeah, it definitely made me think about exactly what you're saying about the commission on them. Sometimes you get more with less in terms of you capture a larger move.
Yeah. I don't know. I just have this flat number in my head of 65 cents. I don't really know. Again, I really haven't taken the time to call IB and checked it out.
I
Yeah,
think the
I was
safe
looking for
side,
general.
just put aside $2 per contract. That would be easier for us. It's $2 per contract in and out.
Yeah.
Just put it aside.
Yeah.
About $2 per.
Yeah. Mark, you got a hot mic. Yeah, what I do as far as putting it aside, yeah, that makes sense, a couple of bucks per contract. But I just basically I do it in RVR when I'm actually trading. If it doesn't offer me 3-1, I won't even look at it as an enter the trade. And ideally it's above 5-1. And then again, if you have to de-risk it along the way, you're still making money. And then it absorbs contracts, absorbs spreads, come in, whatever. In the end of the day, you've made enough money. You'll be okay. So I don't know. I just kind of, I guess, 80-20, just bring it all into focus on trading. All this other stuff is kind of, okay, figure it out, then put it aside and focus on trading. That's why, honestly, I haven't even taken the 5 minutes out of my day to call IB and figure it out. But anyways, yeah, it's good to figure it out. Save a lot of money if you're trading, consistent. I'd probably save, I don't know, $1 million a year on commissions if I actually call them.
Now, with what you're making, you're definitely covering it. That's obvious. I think it's just for me in the stage of where I'm in my trading, the weekend journaling and seeing what I'm actually paying. It actually helps in how I'm approaching the number of shares and what type of stocks and all that. But you're good. You're definitely covering them, as you know.
Yeah, but again, it's just RVR. That's my method. Is covering everything. Covers taking multiple stop outs, taking all the commissions and fees and all that. If you can't trade big RVR, 3-1, 5-1, 10-1, then you're not gonna make money anyway. So what are you talking about commissions for? So yeah, think of things like that. All right, here we go. A little good looking double top. The second top is not exactly as lower than the other one, the first one, but it's a good looking double top with a nice gap in the middle. And let's see, it's a matter of making a new low. If it makes a new low, that's the end of that. I believe that's a bearish sign, and that level truly has turned into resistance. So down here, let's see what happens. Even had another opportunity to de-risk if I didn't do that first. That was cool. Yeah, difficult to trade through these recent, I call these traumatic levels. If you guys have seen my webinars from about a year ago, I did all this stuff on trading with nature and all that, and traumatic levels using human nature and what is trauma. And there are traumatic levels on the chart. There's traumatic price action on the chart. You're trading through that. There's recent trauma you're going back up against it where you just came. And makes trading very tricky. You can see it. But once we're in the clear, overcome all the trauma, new highs, then you're in a new world and things go smoother. Go from level to level in a much cleaner way. All right, that's encouraging. So far, a higher low. I put in a buyer there. Now it begins to look more like a consolidation rather than a reversal pattern. Oh shit, it's 8:30. That's the thing about trading. I get into a trade and then it turns into midnight all of a sudden and lose track of everything. Really got to pay attention to stuff.
What time do you actually wake up since you don't go to bed at random weird times?
Sunrise every day. Never miss a sunrise. Ever. I never miss a sunrise, never miss a sunset. Two things that are absolute rules for me. So 3-4 hours of sleep, if that's what it is, that's what it is. And then power naps and stuff like that in the middle of the day. I think I had 2 power naps today so far. Even on Fridays when I'm doing the happy hour with you guys, I still catch sunrise, but that's usually with no sleep. I'm just up all night. But Fridays are one day of the week, one evening of the week where I let myself go. Everything else is all discipline. Must be. All All right, here we go. This Friday is gonna be tricky though. It's my father's birthday, right in the middle of the trading session, and gonna go take a break and cut some cake. 10 minutes right there.
Avi, I have a question. Can you take a look at NVIDIA? Can you tell me whether or not you think it would be a good entry at 940, 941 this morning?
Okay, what are you talking about? The long down there, 30-minute chart. What are you looking at? Going inside, down in this zone?
Yeah, go along. Yep.
Okay, so if you're looking at that, looking at a false breakout from down here, false breakout, and zoom into that. SPY is just sitting there. You have this low, a lower low, a higher low. You're beginning to think of a head and shoulders pattern. This is interesting. This zone right here. So by the time this candle closes, this low is even higher. You have basically higher lows, right? And if you're
So,
believing in the level, you got to break through the level. You might think of catching that break with a stop wide and then adding in as it's retesting the level area and the stop right below that initial breakthrough candle. That would make sense. This is basically trading a false breakout. So it broke out, turns into a false breakout. This is the ideal one. Now, earlier though, there's
yeah,
nothing here. Nothing. I wouldn't
because
touch this.
I was looking at more like at 940 and 941. So I was thinking like maybe I'm
Yeah.
not moving this right. I'm too early.
Yeah, this is way too early. It made a deeper low.
I was looking at it right after that, like 940,
Yeah.
941.
Yeah,
After it
yeah.
kind of back to the
I
line,
see
yeah.
what you. There's no way to enter here. There's no way because look at these. These lows are getting higher. Here, the low is getting lower. You're going against the trend. Here, the sellers are in charge still. And still they are. They put in that hammer there and then push down severely. And overall, I think this is very difficult. I don't like trading false breakouts anymore because you end up with a lot of this, maybe one or two stop loss, and it's really hard to read it in real time. So I avoid it. Even on the SPY, there was one earlier, like way earlier, like down here, right? And I would have taken it because on the SPY, the 30-minute was there. But this is really tricky stuff. I hardly do this stuff anymore. Wait for the real breakout. Wait for a real good one. Which all right,
I feel like I tend to be a little bit like the gun a little too early. So I'm working on it.
Just wait for it. Wait for it. You'll get it. Wait for a good real breakout, retest, all that fun stuff. Then you get a good one. So even here, you're getting the same picture. You're getting this low, and this is higher, and this is higher. I mean, what does this look like? An ascending wedge. You got a flat top there. Starts breaking out. I'll be out of here. I'll be getting into it deeper. Hold on a sec. My kids are sending me good night notes under the door. Just a moment. All right, no new high yet. All right, good. Gosh, my kids are so cute. Little good night notes, and they made gifts for me. Look at that.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, well, it's like 3 weeks to my birthday, and they're already making gifts and stuff. I don't even know what to do. They're so sweet. Wish I could
They love
take
their
them.
daddy.
Oh man. Yep, that's why I'm up at sunrise with them every day. Never miss a sunrise, no matter how tired I am. That's the most magical time of the day. I wake up with them, get them ready for school, all that fun stuff. Yeah.
How old are they again?
6 and 7. Whoa, shit, look at this thing jump. Yikes. Okay, I added in a bit. Fuck, this should have been $1 million trade, right? All right, new break even, still in a good spot. I couldn't add too much, just 50 more contracts. Retest I'll add. It's hard to add. Yeah, they're 6 and 7, and they got a lot going on in their world. A whole lot. Okay. Shit, that entry was horrible. See these spreads? I saw it happen. I just couldn't hit the button correctly, or even if I did, it would have hit the spread. Anyways, now, well, we're in it. This is great. See, what was I telling you guys? That was just previous support turning into support. I'll keep being support, but temporarily resistance, so you could not trust it. Just could not. Damn it. Now what's really interesting is I can bring, once it bounces off of this green line, I can bring a stop right below it and really add some size. Maybe another 100 contracts, but it has to come back and bounce off a good retest. So wait and see.
The 11 o'clock Eastern time is getting a golden time. I said it in Discord. Let's just have the session.
Yeah, well, it's turning into that. It's also tremendously boring. Whoops, sorry, look at that, I'm falling over. It's tremendously boring. There's just nothing. I mean, sit here for hours. There's nothing to talk about. There's like, if you find a setup, then you wait for it to happen and then fall asleep. But yeah, it's all right. We're here now. We're here about 3 times a week. We're here at this time. That's good. The other 2 days a week, I'm committed to BBT, and we have our 5 days a week at the Open. And don't get me wrong, I love the Open. If I can get into something like this morning, I would have taken that long down there, if not for that news. You know, it would have been massive. And look, it went the full distance. I would have taken the same kind of size, and this would have been a 7-figure trade. Now it's just getting to a difficult area. So, yeah, well, can't get everything.
We took it for you, but we left halfway.
Yeah, you guys. I tell you, man, hold for your targets.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the challenge that I have. I have to work on these targets.
Not just you, man, everybody, every trader. The hard part is learning how to trade and not lose money and somehow finding some consistency. That's only the first couple of years, like 3-4 years. Then holding for targets, like that's another skill that, I mean, that's something you're always working on. We have guys like so experienced, 10, 20 years, and they still get out way too early. I get out way too early all the time. And look at this. I didn't hold for my target today. And this may just go. Look at the action on this. This is ready to go. And I'm adding a bit more than that pop. Look at this piece of junk. I cannot add heavily. I got to be very careful. Whew. Above 300 contracts now. Let's see, 300 contracts. 590.5, 590. Yeah, that's a key area itself. Let me quickly. Whoa, okay, shit. This thing wants to run. What the hell? See, now it's all a scalping mentality. See this activity here? You just can't be aggressive with this. You got to be super careful. Okay, that's it. Got to get out of a lot of this. Bring it down to 100, maybe less than 100. Come on, scale out more. Oof. Yeah, this is so scary to bring it down to 50 contracts. There we go. You see that? This is risk management still. When it pops so fast and aggressive, it'll pop the other way again quickly, just like it did earlier. Now, I want to maintain not less than this number of contracts, because if the breakout happens through the next level, I can add in with some size as well without screwing up the average cost. Whew, this has been a bit of a monster trade, huh? Only that early area was difficult, but oh well, can't do much with it. This looks like news. But again, I don't care what the news is as long as I'm watching the action. I know what to do.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you while you were in the middle of that, but as Asgar was saying, holding for targets. For me, like I said, I'm trying to get the 4 to 5 hour or whatever to the next level. So if I were in the trade you're in right now, I wouldn't have done anything. I'd just be sitting here. But like, look at all the profits you've taken and added back in, like actively trading it versus holding for that next level.
Yeah, no, it's more advisable to hold for the next level and not do what I'm doing for multiple reasons. Firstly, I'm trading these 0 DT options on the SPY. These are just the most volatile thing in existence. So you don't need to be so aggressive with de-risking as I do. And the other thing is I find this quite complex. So yes, you'll probably take a few more stop outs if you don't do what I do, as in de-risking, but your winners are going to be massive, and that'll make you profitable already. Just look at the next 2 quarters, keep doing this, you'll find yourself much more profitable without having to deal with this kind of complexity of active trade management. Because you can really do this wrong very easily. As in, it's easy to do this wrong. It's easy to get overexcited and then make up for previous losses and all this stuff we discussed. It's so easy. So this kind of active management, again, grow into it. Grow into it. And again, I'm doing it specifically because of these options. I would not be so aggressive without them. If it was just the SPY shares, I would mostly let it run. Still be holding, like, what did I have, 400,000 shares. Still have like 200,000 on, probably. But I've had to cut it down by so much, by like 90%. And now I don't know if it's going to run or not. And then I have to watch these commissions. Shit, I want to add here, but this risk, this is not enough consolidation after a massive move. Again, looking for consolidation before going, and then I can add more. And then, but again, if you left this to run, like if you were doing this trade and let it to run level to level, you would have made over $1 million on this. But I'm not even close to that. It's like diluted the whole thing by like 1/10 or something.
But I agree, where you took those first partials, yeah, I would be sitting in it saying, yeah, my probability of winning this trade is not very good anymore. But you either keep it at 1R or break even, whatever your preference. But yeah, I'd just be looking at this saying, I'm probably going to lose this trade.
Yeah. And in that case, you have 2 options: either take the partials, or just bring it to break even, so you have nothing to lose. Either if it goes, then great, you have your full position to make all that money. Otherwise, you're out of that. You don't need to bother with it. It's at break even. So I'm moving more and more towards trying to de-risk, as in bring it to break even, and not think about de-risking as in taking the position off. But again, SPY options are more complex, and this was my real target right here, 590.55. I would have taken off probably 80-90% here, and tried to add back for the remainder of the move, just because this really is halfway to the big target, and I know it's trouble. You can see it up there. But yeah, ease into it. Trade management is a whole different art. Once you figure out a little bit of how to survive, then trade management becomes another thing on its own. So bit by bit.
I like the way you phrased it: de-risk and not take off the position, like remove the risk. Like, I know we practice that, but usually it's simultaneous. You're de-risking and trying to take profits because you're seeing the trade not work for you.
Yeah, it's tough. You got to be clear in your head. What are you really trying to achieve here? Just a P&L? If you're trying to achieve a P&L, go to Vegas, go gambling. If you're really trying to trade sustainably for a long time, then you got to have a clear-cut decision. All right, I will make more money if I keep it on and just de-risk it to no risk, so break even. And if you have conviction that's going to move. And again, it comes down to your instrument. It comes down to your conviction on your trade style, your trade book. For me, again, the instrument, right? Most important thing here is it's very sensitive, these options. So yeah, man, things to work on, and practice and build your confidence. It's not something I could tell you and you do it tomorrow. It's a matter of practice and building your confidence in it. By the way, it's a good reversal setup, huh? I don't like it on a 1, but on a 30, if I saw this, I'd be excited. Aggressive push up, couple of consolidation candles, long tail hammer with some room to the left at the top of it. New 1-minute low, or the new low next candle, stop above, and you're going short at a level. If it's happening at a level you like. I don't trade this on a 1 minute. It gets stopped out a lot, but on a 30-minute, this would be huge.
Because it's all quote unquote free money right now. You're not bothered about that. You wouldn't exit as a result.
Yeah, I've already hit my target. Now everything is a bonus. This is the target, right? Unfortunately,
if you had like full size or a larger size and you saw that price action on the 1 minute, even though it's a 1 minute.
Yeah, if I saw like this price action where it struggled earlier, I would have done the same thing I did earlier, which is take off 90% of it or something. Yeah, I had to. That was just this action but I wouldn't. I would just make the same decision. Take a lot of it off. This is very obvious. Again, naked trading setups. I'll take this kind of setup going with it on a 30-minute. I'll take it. I haven't seen much of those lately. I haven't seen any of those. Anyways, 590 has been a key number, not today on my charts, but we know it's been a key number recently. So let's see what happens. Might just bounce off. Yeah, Rajesh, go ahead. Got a question? Oh, you can't unmute. Hold on. Let me find you. You are unmuted. Select the microphone you want to use.
Alternatively, before you join Zoom, make sure you're unmuted, then join Zoom. So maybe get out and come back in.
Oh, yes. Google Meet, but yes. That makes sense too.
Hi, Avi, can you hear me?
Yes, Rajesh, got you now. Yep.
Hi, okay, thanks. Hey, so you use phrase room to the left. What does room to the left mean?
Room to the left. Oh boy, here we go. I haven't spoken about that in a while. Anyone want to start with that? I can go on and on about it.
No candles to the left.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, there's okay. Well, let's get it straight. And since we haven't really talked about it in a while, look at this candle here on a 30-minute chart, Rajesh. You see that at the bottom of it, at its absolute extreme down here, where it found these buyers and pushed it right back up. Just look to the left of it. It has not been here. There is room to the left. And what that tells you is that it doesn't want to be there. It's not a place that's comfortable. If you look at, for example, here, look to the left. There's candles everywhere on the left. It's happy to be there. It's not likely to go away from there. There's no indication it's going to go. Over here, it's more likely, it's telling you it's more likely not to be here. It could go back where it came from or continue down, but it's not likely to be here. Once it gets in this area, you have a chance for a move.
Move away from it.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Got it.
From
Move to the left is look at the left if you see sunset.
Yes, sunset. Sunset. Think of sunset. You got it.
Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. Again, for naked trading, it's a very, very important concept. Nobody else talks about it because everyone's got indicators. But what I'm doing is naked trading, so no indicators. And this is a very important concept to find where stocks are likely to stay and where they're not likely to stay. People talk about they're range bound or they're in a happy place or whatever, or they're oversold or whatever, all that stuff. I just look at room to the left, and that tells me if it's likely to be there or not. And that's it. That's just one of the pieces in the trade book, in the strategy. All right, 590 on the SPY. We are just below. I want to see what happens. You can see exactly what happened here. It came down, decently large candles coming to it. One small candle. Now let's see this. This one is interesting. Let's see if it rejects 590 or pushes through. I think this one will be very interesting, very telling. There you go. That short work. Look at the short setup with room to the left on this. Working one level to the next. Okay, my stop is below the green line. So yeah, I got some room. And I need to make sure I got enough room. Anyways, I'll watch it closely. There you go. Finding buyers where? Right. Look at the bottom of this candle. The hammer. Right where there was some previous consolidation. Again, healthy price action. Once it go and then come back and bounce off what was previous resistance. Again, minor levels and moving in waves. That's healthy. Sustainable. So this is encouraging. Boy, there is a temptation to add here. I have a little room on this. I have 160. You know what? I can. This is where Paris would add. When it comes to adding, I always think, what would Paris do? There you go. Still in a good spot. Okay, add 10 more. Again, 10 contracts at a time. Not a lot. And now my stop is, it's going to be above the level. It's going to be basically just below the previous low. Just around about there. I got a bad spread on this. If this goes, this ad is tremendous. This is great. This is where I'd like to figure out how to add. Anyways, I'm doing this all risk-free. This is not something I'm really good at, adding on pullbacks. I usually add on breakouts, but I'm trying it. And I'm in a risk-free situation with small size, so I can try this, see if it works. Again, there's another thing to it. When you're adding on these pullbacks, you're partialing out at the next previous resistance. Again, this is what Paris does all the time. He looks at the tape and does this. Me, I'm going to try and add above there if it goes. But let's see. We'll find out what happens. What do we have? 185, 191. Yeah, there's enough space on that.
When you partial at the previous resistance, we create what's the percentage you're thinking that would make sense?
Yeah, and this kind of scalping mentality, just a 10% hotkey. People use 5% as well. I have a 10% one. So I'll probably hit that 10% a few times till I'm down to, I don't know, 40, 30 contracts. See how it's behaving, really. It should set up for a breakout, ideally. But let's see. So it's all these smaller partials, really, when you're into these scalping mindset.
So like you would at least keep like 50% of the position.
It depends on your conviction of the move. For me, here, yeah, I would. The move's already over. Everything I'm doing now is just scalping pennies. It's just bonus. So let's see. It's all scalping now at this point. I would. The interesting part is if I take off too much here, and then when I want to add back above there for the remainder of the move, if it gets all up there, I'm going to have a hard time adding some real decent size. So I really don't want to go below 30 contracts, let's say. So about half of this position. That way I can add maybe 30 more if it truly goes with a tight stop right below this green line. But again, let the price action dictate. It might take 10 more minutes till it gets there. I have no idea what's going to happen. So wait and see.
What about in the morning when they're closer to the open, when there's still a lot more momentum? Then what would be your approach, like in terms of like percentage wise, when you have to de-risk to take some partials, and then when you like would you take like 50% off, 40% off, knowing that there will be a chance to add back in? And how would you add back in when there's still a lot of momentum, like in the morning?
In the morning, my strategy is to sit out of the open. What the hell with that? No,
Maybe
but
not
yeah, I know. Well, sit out you can't even really trade the first 3 or 4 minutes. Everything's just too jumpy. But anyways, once you're trading momentum. The thing about momentum, okay, truly, I cheat. I don't really do it the right way. Guys like Andrew do it the right way, where anytime you get a pop in your favor, you should hit your 5% or 10% key. So you're always like, whatever you've got, you're hitting that key, like let's say 5 times your 10% key. And then on a pullback and it bounces off another moving average with volume, then you're adding back in, but observing your new break even to be in a place where it should be, as in on the other side of the moving average or whatever. That is typical. Again, I don't do that much of it. What I like to do, again, I have that target in mind that's usually far out. And I don't partial when I get a pop in my favor. I partial only when I see that the momentum in my favor is slowing down. And at that point, I'm likely to hit the 10% key until I'm probably down 30 or 40% of the whole position. And then I'm at break even as well. And then let it run for the target, ideally. So I'm very, very, I guess, trying to trade the slower style, even when I trade the open. So I'm waiting for more indications before I take any partials. It's not the first indication everyone looks for is that you get something that pops in your favor. It goes 1R, you hit the button a little bit. It goes 2R, hit the button a little bit. That's what a lot of people do. But again, I'm waiting for let it go. I'm not looking at how many R's. I know what the target is, but let it just keep going until it's slowing down its momentum, the speed of going. And then I'll take out like 40% of it, something like that. But again, you haven't seen me do that in a while. I don't do that anymore. I'm just kind of drawing this from memory. When I used to, like when did I do that? Last quarter of last year, even first quarter of this year, a little bit. I used to do that with the Mag 7 stuff. I think the way I do that stuff is more complicated because again, my whole philosophy is big RVR. I'm not satisfied with 2-to-1. You never make money that way. Well, I've never made money that way. Ooh, Tesla's a big jump. So yeah, I'm not really great with that stuff intentionally. So again, if you want to trade the open or momentum, man, I don't know. I always found it tremendously difficult. You got to be very skilled. You got to build those skills for 5 or 10 years, and then still squeeze a profit out of 2-to-1 trades. That's what Andrew does, and he's very skilled. And Andrew and Brian, they do that every day. I don't know how they do it. They're amazing. So I recommend do this slower. Sorry, not a very direct answer, but that's the best I've got on that.
That's good. Very helpful. Thank you.
Sure. Hey, who's catching Tesla, huh? We're running this up all the way. Wow, Tesla did a great piece of price action. I'm just watching it now. Wow. All right, so let's see if SPY here puts in a higher low. That would be encouraging. Higher low from this previous hammer. I mean, here's the thing about stops. I added based on this hammer. So my stop should be below this hammer, because then the thesis would be negated, right? But anyways, I'm in a deeper position than that. So my stop is still got room from the hammer. It's actually below the previous low. And let's see, once it gets to the top there, then I'll bring it in below the hammer. I might even partial some. But we'll see. Again, for me, that's the target. That was the main target, the big one. And it went straight to it. Well, struggled for an hour down here. I had to de-risk, and then it went. There we go. SPY is just sitting there, but what's interesting is to stop moving down. So the buyers might be in this area. Well, we know they're there at the low of that previous hammer. Let's see. I'll be out of this quite quickly if it drops. There we go. 590, reclaim 590. There we go. There's an opportunity to add, but I'm not going to. I still want to keep my stop decently wide. Again, this whole thing of adding and scalping is a really good recipe for overtrading. A lot of us fall into the overtrading trap by doing this. This is something I really like to refrain from. Please be careful with this stuff. Again, you gotta have a lot of experience. I mean, Paras has been reading the tape for like 12 years, so he knows what to do with this. Andrew wrote the book on day trading, so he knows what to do with this. Brian's been doing this since the .com bubble 25 years ago, so he knows what to do with this. These are not the kind of guys who would fall into traps of overtrading regularly. The rest of us would, so be careful with this. Okay, reclaim 590, but come back. So it's looking like it's chopping around 590 now. Buyers and sellers are just fighting it. That recent white candle should have made a new high. That would have told me that, all right, the buyers are in charge, but it's not happening right now. And if you look on the chart, let's see, it chopped around 590. Even previously, around 590. 590 is a bit of a happy place. It wants to be there for a while. Looks like it also did go right through it. I think this was news on this day. Anyways, let's see. Don't expect it to be smooth, huh? I really should move the stop in tighter. Spread's gonna get ugly. Okay, moving the stop up to $2 a contract, which is basically now better than break even. Try and cover a little bit of the commissions. Basically below the hammer and some wiggle room. Pretty much on the level, really. You know what? It's a good time to put range orders. Put some here. Where'd it go? Went up to 290. If it gets up there again, let's call it 280. Take a whole chunk off. 2.8. What should we do? 69 contracts. Take off 39. Over there. $2 would be the stop. There you go. The order's in place to liquidate there. 39 contracts. I have 30 contracts left. And the target is way out. I don't even know where this thing's going to be. Let's just put it at 5 for now and then watch it. That's it. Cool. Now, this is the easy way to do it. Put in range orders and walk away. But with, again, options and 0DT, it's very difficult to do this. So that's why I don't do it very often. But for most of you who are trading non-0DT contracts or just regular equities, I mean, those are the easiest. You know where the target is, just put the order there. Very, very simple.
But you wouldn't move your stop due to decay. Like, say, assume SPY is not moving, and so the contract is consolidating there. You know it's going to decay as the day goes on. Are you going to widen your stop as a result?
Well, on the options contract, yes, it looks like I'm widening the stop. But my stop is based on the SPY, right, on the underlying. So only if the SPY hits it, then I'll hit it. Unless the contract has some extreme situation of extreme decay, in which case I was completely wrong with my timing. And if I'm wrong with my timing, like I'm 30 minutes off, then I'm no day trader. Shouldn't be day trading. Forget about it. So timing the entry is really, really important. If I'm confident of the timing, I'll keep it, I'll take the trade. If I'm not confident of the timing of the trade, I have to wait for half an hour after the entry. I don't take those entries. I'd rather take a delayed entry and get better timing as in I don't have to wait for it to move. I'll lose a little bit on the RVR. That's okay. It's just tiny. It's really tiny. So that's the way I do it. And so far, that's okay. That buying opportunity, the new high, but no, very difficult to buy down there. What am I missing here, guys? PLTR, Gurinder, you're looking at that? QBTS, Carl? Shane also, PLTR. Cool. I'm not going to switch my charts. I'm just looking at this for now. You guys want to move the sessions to 11? See how boring this is? I'm half asleep, really.
My trading guru says boring is good.
Yes, that's true. That's when you're doing it right. But as a learning curve, man, you got to be there at the open. There's so much to learn and absorb quickly. It even sets up the day, even though I don't trade the open very often. When I get a setup, I'll trade it. Like today, I got a setup, but again, the news kept me out of it. But still, I show up to watch the open because it sets up a lot of the action for the day. And yeah, it's very, very important. I think you must watch the open always. This is where you start playing video games on the side or doing something. Once range orders are set, it's amazing. I mean, you talk about detachment and Zen trading. Try range orders, guys. That was another massive tool for me. It really helped me to get into the detachment mindset, which is also the abundance mindset. One of the most important things for day trading. See this? You put these range orders, and it really, amazingly, emotionally, it's no longer any of your business what the price is doing. That's either your stop or your target, and it's none of your business. Try that for a year, and you'll see that it's a big difference. Again, another little thing that made my trading much, much better. Man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to some sleep tonight. Wow. Didn't get much yesterday. Watch Tesla, guys. It's misbehaving. Again, looks like somebody tweeted something. Well, Joel, wanted to sit here and watch this, or what? I don't see. I'm not making any decisions. It's just range orders, and that's it. At this point, I don't think I'm capable of making decisions. What's on your minds? End the session or keep it running?
It's lunchtime.
It's lunchtime. Yes. It's dinner time for me too. Well, it's past dinner time, but gotta eat something.
I want to thank you for this buy trade. It was my biggest green day today, but I'm trying to work on size, and your approach is helping.
All right, good, man. Well, congrats to you, man. Green days, that's your results. You worked for it, so congrats. Celebrate your success. That's important. Stick to it too. You know what it takes, so stick to it. Thanks, guys. Good stuff. I'm just gonna leave this thing on, go get some food, and see what happens. And then I'll put the video up and the recap and all that fun stuff. Cool.
Thank you, Avi.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Cool.
Thank you.
Have a good
Sure.
evening.
You too, guys. Take it easy.
Hey, man. Have fun.
See ya.